What's going on, guys? My name is Consider, and today we are building something never seen before. That is to say that I'm going off the books a little bit. I'm not basing this car off anything. I'm just gonna build from scratch. I have a basic inspiration here, which I'm not gonna say what it is, but I'm not really taking anything from it. No engine, no design, just kind of an idea, more or less, that I kind of want to go for. And the basic idea of the car that I'm taking this basic idea from is really just a concept car. I think it'll be kind of interesting. So this car is called the WEEP Deco-X, and that should be kind of indicative as to what that car that I'm kind of basing it off of, but not really, because I'm not basing it off anything, is based on. That made no sense. Okay, so here's our body. And it looks like right off the bat, the suspension's poking right through it. That's not good. That's not what I wanted to see. So since this isn't based off anything, though, I am just gonna pick whatever the heck I want to pick. And yeah, that might not be the most sensible thing, but I'm just gonna do it. So we're gonna do partial aluminum, monocoque, light AHS steel. We're gonna do a front longitudinal with a double wishbone and a multi-link. Awesome, and the suspension doesn't even poke through anymore. How nice. All right, so that's that. New project on the engine. We're gonna go ahead and call this the maybe decent. It could be awful. And I'm actually not sure. I'm thinking maybe a Boxer 6 would be fun. I do really like Boxers. This is definitely gonna be rear wheel or all wheel drive, so we don't have to worry about that front wheel drive fit. But I'm not sure if I want like a V8 or a Boxer. A Boxer 6 is just, Boxers are fun. But we do already have a fast Boxer. So maybe we do a V10 or a V8. We could just go with a good old-fashioned V8 and turbo it. I mean, that would be fine. Alright, in that case, we're going to go for an aluminum block, save a little bit of weight there. I think we'll knock this up to a 5-liter. We'll get dual overhead cams, and yeah, that's what we're going to do. A little bit overkill, but that's fine. Alright, so to crank, I think I'm going to go for some RPM here. So we're going to go billet steel, we're going to go lightweight forged, unless we need titanium later. And similarly, we'll go with lightweight forged there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the compression down. We'll bring the cam profile up a bit. We'll go with VVT, turbocharger with ball bearing. We'll come back to this. Injection's gonna be direct injection. We'll do, you know what, we'll do twin. And this is gonna run on premium. This is gonna be a beefy engine. All right, so we'll do a dual exhaust, short cast, of course, with bypass valves. We'll throw on a high flow 3-way, none, and then we'll straight throughout the back. So this is gonna be loud. All right, so I'm not going for crazy horsepower. I'm actually probably gonna dial the horsepower back a bit. I want this thing to have decent fuel efficiency. I want it to have a decent acceleration curve. I want it to be decent in a lot of different categories. So I'm definitely not gonna maximize what this engine is capable of just purely off horsepower. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and leave this just alone for the time being and go and work on the turbo right off the bat. Let's get as much power out of this turbo as we can. Can also get the RPM limit up, see where we're at. The RPM is currently killing the conrod, so that's not good. We can pull it back a bit, but I think we're just gonna need to give it a bit more quality. Okay, let's see, how can we keep the turbine happy and the compressor happy and the intercooler, all of them together quite happy while still maintaining a reasonable curve. So that's not bad the way it is. And now we can draw this back a bit, get that lined up a bit more sensibly. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with this. This isn't too shabby. I mean, we could definitely get more power out of it, but I'm not trying to. Okay, that's pretty good. We got 25% on the fuel efficiency and a peak 403 horsepower. Not the craziest, but it's not bad. I think we can actually go ahead and drop the quality here again, and we should still be green. Yes, we are. You know, I think that's gonna be our engine. That feels pretty good, I think. A bit weird on the RPM limit. Maybe open that up a bit. I mean, it can stay at that flat for quite a bit. I might just do that. I mean, it's kind of at maximum horsepower right there. That might be a little weird, but we'll play with that. We'll see how that goes. All right, let's hear how it sounds, though. Oh. It sounds really mean. All right, let's go ahead and design it then. Okay, so I don't normally do this, but considering how much time I actually spend designing this, which once you see the end product may sadden you a little bit. Personally, I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, the reason that I've brought you here today is to show you that this is the video so far, okay? This is the time I spent designing the car. That. So rather than just edit through this, I'm just gonna time-lapse this today. So let me know what you guys think of this format. I don't plan on making this a regular thing, but just for today, oh man, I just do not feel like sifting through all that. Okay, so here's the finished design. There's a lot of things I would like to do differently, but I'm just kind of restricted in a lot of places. Also, I feel like there's probably a lot of questions as to why I did things the way I did in some cases, so I'm just going to explain what I think some of those questions will be. 1. What's the business with this weird flaring thing here? Well, this taillight went a little too far, and I wanted to have kind of a cut-off look there. So the only option I could find that actually covered it adequately and didn't look terrible was this. So that is why we have that. All these little dot things down here, I think that those, well, those aren't supposed to be there. I'm pretty sure that those are like proximity sensors, so I just added those on there because I thought they were kind of neat. What else? I think this stuff's all kind of standard. That's just a vent that I think would go to cool the rear brakes. So about halfway through the design, I realized that I literally just made a Mustang. And that's not really what I wanted. So I had to redesign that and keep trying to, steer it away from being a Mustang, because my first solution to not make it a Mustang just turned it into a Fusion. So this is where we're at now. And I like it. I wish that this grille wasn't tearing. But other than that, I'm decently satisfied with it. The other weird thing was the wipers. Just because of the shape of this windshield, they didn't quite fit all that well. I feel like this right now gives it a decent range of motion to cover enough, but yeah, the wipers are kind of a mess. Also, those mirrors are a little too high to kind of be sensibly usable, but I really wanted to use that panel there on the window, just because if you don't, it looks really strange. And it's a concept car, so anything that doesn't make sense or seems unusable, I'm just gonna explain away as it's a concept car. And I didn't do the WEEP style grille or use the badge. I didn't use the badge because there's been a couple issues with it exporting, and I didn't do the grille thing just because I couldn't figure out a way to really set it in there and make it look at all decent. So it's a concept car. That's my excuse. Anyway, though, let's actually get to the rest of the build on this, because I have spent quite enough time designing it. I think that this is probably the longest I've spent designing something, just because I worked through so many designs. And some of you are probably going to absolutely hate what I've done here. I think it looks kind of cool, actually, but the front I feel like is still kind of a letdown to how kind of cool looking the back is. You might not like it. I think the back looks awesome, though, but I feel like the front kind of lets it down a bit. I feel like it just needs to be a bit more aggressive and a bit more thin, but there's just not a whole lot of headlight units that accommodate that super well, and I want to make sure there's still plenty of lighting that comes out of there. But that's that. Okay, so I'm trying to decide if I want rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. I like the lower weight of rear-wheel drive, but all-wheel drive definitely will be better. Maybe all-wheel drive. Anyway, I'm kind of torn now between an automatic and a manual, because I feel like a modern WEEP, being a modern, well, you can't really have a modern Saab, but a modern-ish Saab or a modern Volvo, they're gonna be automatic. So I'm half tempted to pick automatic for that purpose, but at the same time, I know that a manual is gonna be a little more exciting. All right, we'll pick a manual. We can always drive it in automatic. I think 6 for now, but we can adjust that. 190 top speed, that sounds good. We'll go with an electric LSD. Power distribution, I think I might actually just put a little bit to the rear. All right, radial sports compound for sure. Alloys, we'll go with vented discs in the front and rear. I don't know if I'll need carbon ceramic, but I might go to that just because it's a little lighter, and this is a concept car. I'll do carbon ceramic on the front, vented on the rear. That should be fine. I mean, there's literally a vent. It's perfect. Grasping at straws to justify that decision, aren't I? All right, we'll go with electric power steering, all the traction aids with launch control, and then advanced safety. We'll give it active sport springs, adaptive dampers. All right, how are we doing? Well, it's definitely gonna fly off the shelves as a Grand Touring. 23.7 miles per gallon. That's not bad. The problem is it weighs a ton. 4,200 pounds. It's, for some reason, all of my heaviest cars seem to handle pretty decently. So I don't know what that's about. I mean, I could probably shave off a lot of weight with that interior. I mean, a basic seat, that just really tears it down, though. I like the, I mean, it's got to have some kind of a luxury feel to it. Premium, I'd like premium. Sport's got better gas mileage, probably because it weighs a little less, but what was the sat nav? How much is that? 4,080, so that does take it up a little bit. All right, we'll do a standard infotainment and a sport interior. So we got some tendencies here to oversteer early on, and there's not a whole lot you can do to fix that. But that's just riding the oversteer line. I don't know if I love that. But it's also a concept car. I mean, no one's actually going to be buying this. Widen the rims. That gets it up a little bit. These things have 20-inch rims. Oh my gosh. Now we're at 1.1 Gs. That's probably... I don't think I want to go any further than that. Let's see. I'm okay with a little bit of wheel spin. I'm okay with like 25% wheel spin. Alright, that gets us a 4.4 second 0 to 60. I am good with that. Lowering the dampers as it wants makes for complaints. It makes it a little less marketable. They actually really want hard dampers. I mean, I guess for a sport, I mean, yeah, that's all pretty good. 25.4 miles per gallon. I mean, this looks on paper to be pretty solid car. That ride height's a little low. Okay, 3,925.5 pounds. 189 mile per hour top speed. 12.78 second quarter mile, and a 4.4 second 0 to 60. Okay. Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and export this and get it out on the road. Alright, so here it is in Beam. And I gotta say, I quite like how it looks. I still wish the front was a little more aggressive, and I think with that very faint badging job, it just kind of looks a little odd, but you know what? It's a concept car. That's my excuse for everything. So we're at Lime Rock, if you couldn't tell. I think we just gotta give it a go. I also don't know this track very well, so this could go bad. Oh, that sounds so good. It's hard to rev it in automatic, but it sounds mean. All right, let's just go for it. Oh, it's quick. It's real quick. Let's see, oversteer was kind of a worry. At speed, obviously it's not. It's on that end of that spectrum where it was shooting down into understeer, which is thankfully the case. Oh, brakes are really good. Okay, this thing's actually really solid. You know what it is? It's the fact that I ignored the damper warning. Always ignore the damper warning. That's probably not the best choice, but long story short, Automation Suggestions doesn't always know what's best. Oh man, this just feels smooth. It feels like the whole package. It doesn't feel like it's lacking something severely that's just going to be its detriment. It feels like a complete car. It doesn't feel like it's going to launch off the road if I do something wonky or push it too hard. It feels like, I don't even know. It's like, I think the simplest way to put it is that this is probably the only car this season that there feels like there's any sort of connection to the driving of it. It doesn't feel like there's like this separation of you have to think on how not to make it do something stupid. It just works. This car could honestly be a very real threat to the supers. I mean, it's fast, maybe not as fast, but everything else it does better. Everything. It kind of reminds me of the SLFE, if the SLFE was at all refined. Like, the shifting feels fine. I mean, it's automatic, but it doesn't feel like it's ever losing any performance on the gears. Controls well. The brakes don't fade and they feel really grippy and nice. It corners predictably. It doesn't have a tendency to launch itself out in the corners. This thing could win. It could. I mean, it definitely has its work cut out for it, like just based on horsepower figures. It doesn't have the performance, so in challenges like long jump, that kind of stuff, it's probably not going to do as well. It has every opportunity to make up everything else. It's going to do a really good lap time. Speaking of lap time, let's go ahead and give it a lap time. So the top time right now is the Fatal Posh Pish with a 1 minute 17 something. There's some change there. The Elysian and the SLFE are both coming in at a 121. So that's pretty much where the supers are. The next closest car is the Tsunami with a 125, but I don't know how this thing will be slower than the Tsunami. I think this is going to be a really good time though. I don't know how it'll compare to the Pish. just because there's some straights on here that the pish can just really run free. But, alright, let's see how a WEEP Deco-X does in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, really fast takeoff down the line. Speaking of the takeoff, the ESC launch control stuff, that's definitely going to be why it wasn't oversteering crazy in the test. Because there's no way with that rating that this car doesn't have some oversteer issues. So, the ESC is just really doing a good job. Alright, let's get through here. I'm really hoping to push onto the Fatalis time a bit, but I don't want to push this car so hard that we just fly off the track because I'm just not being careful enough. Alright, nice speed down here. Let's get some brakes in. That might not have been enough. Looks like it'll be okay though. That corner wasn't the best. We definitely lost a little bit of time there. This corner is following it up. Also not the best. I got on the gas a little late. Let's remedy it through here. Get on the gas a little earlier. Excellent. Alright, let's get the brakes going. Let's pull this one in a little tighter than the last corner. Alright, let's go wide here, but just get some gas on it. And stop. Whew. This is a fun car. I'd be absolutely terrified of it without the all-wheel drive system, though. Okay, that might actually be the best landing yet. Alright, time for the real question, though. How did it do around our track? The WEEP Deco-X has completed our track in 1 minute, 20.35. That puts it in second place, right behind the Fatale. This car is surrounded by cars with way more power, but just the fact that it can actually use it makes it so competitive. It is a second faster than the SLFE and the Elysian. And honestly, if we ran this car a few more times, or if I just got a little more practice with it going around, it could beat the Fatale. At least the Posh. Maybe not the Pish, but it could beat the Fatale. Not to mention, to get the times for the Fatale took several tries. This only took 2, and the first one was my own fault. I took a corner way too wide and it clipped something and just wrecked it. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. This car, as always, will be available on the BeamNG repository, so go and check that out, see for yourself. I honestly think it drives amazing, especially compared to a lot of the other cars in this season. So yeah, go ahead and give it a try and see what you guys think. This may be the best car in the entire series, not even just this season. It's the whole package. It is. I am kind of curious though, before we end real quick, how does it drive without the ESC?